That'd be kind of a cool thing to happen in there.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh! Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dalton. This is the Footlong Farmer YouTube channel. Just got back from a long weekend up in Plymouth, Massachusetts. We had a family wedding up there. Beautiful wedding, beautiful city. Plymouth Rock, very underwhelming, but absolutely beautiful. You're right on the ocean up there. Kids got to chase crabs around it. Yeah, it was just an awesome experience. The plan for today was we were gonna cut hay. Gonna start second cutting. But we do have a chance of rain now, which is less than ideal. So we're gonna see what all comes of that. Also a little bit of housekeeping. Let me show you what we got in here. Finally got some hats in, guys. Throw in the comments if you're interested in one. Richardson 112s, as you can see, gray front, white back. Finally got some in. The lady that does my embroidery work for me also owns an ice cream shop, so she has been very busy as of recent. So she finally got them in. They are white backs. As you can see, the hats that I did have are black backs. There's a little bit of confusion there, but the white ones came in. I like the white ones. I like them both, but let me know in the comments if you want one, guys. I do only take Venmo at the moment. I do not have a PayPal set up as far as that goes. So it's Venmo only, but if you're interested in one, let me know. Corn is really coming on now. We've got the heat and we had some dry weather last week. As you can see, we're just about leafed over, so we got to get the side dressing this ASAP. Father-in-law Jack usually does the side dressing. Got our 4430, we put on a 12-row Farm King side dresser, so that'll definitely be on today's list of stuff to get going. On top of cutting hay with the new mowers and the old mowers. I think we're going to run the self-propelleds as well as that. Again, if the rain looks like it's going to hold off, we'll see. Feels good to be back home. We were only gone for a few days, but I'm a man of routine. I'm just like the cows. After a few days, you get a little antsy to get back. So, let's get after it. As you can see, the Alfalfa new seedings look awesome. This will be second cutting off of them. And they are going to be another really heavy cutting from the new seedings. Some of the older seedings look a little weaker, but boy, those new seedings really look like something. Good old 6740. She'll be a 2-year-old in October. Real friendly bird. She's our one of our highest numbered heifers. We flushed her many times. Got a lot of calves coming out of her, so hopefully she really puts on a real good udder and it's a real good milk cow. Not, again, the show cow that you're looking for, but she's a Thorson. The calves that I think we flushed her to the bull Mikan, and a lot of her calves have came back. No, not her calves, never mind. I was gonna say we got a lot of calves out of her with big numbers, but that was a different cow. I don't think we've got calves on the ground out of her yet. Although I do think I've got some in this pen with her embryos in them. So they should be coming soon. So hopefully that miking out of the Thorson cross works out well for us. But she's a friendly little one. She's been kind of spoiled. Rather than going to the off-site locations where we usually take our pregnant heifers, she came right up here, so we just keep a little extra eye on her. So, yeah, she's got quite the personality, that one. Come on, ladies, let's go to the other side. So we're gonna push them to the back, scrape the front, and then we'll push them to the front, scrape the back. Go over and clean the fresh croup after that. Got the barn all cleaned here, just looking at this new seeding. It's amazing what heat will do. That's not what you want to see. You do not want to see blooms on the hay. That means it's more mature than you like. It hasn't been very long, but it must just be the sheer amount of heat that we've gotten the last couple weeks, which definitely not complaining about. But the minute alfalfa blossoms like that, it starts to lose quality. I'm sure the new seedings are some of the only fields that have that issue, just because the amount of food that our new seedings got. We are going to put fertilizer on everything after we're done. But yeah, that stuff is headed out, which is shocking, considering we were like 2 weeks late on first cutting and it still hadn't headed out. But like I said, that week of 90s, that pushes stuff right along. So Uncle Todd is getting the mower out. Gonna start cutting hay, so we're gonna go right after it here. Hopefully everything works out and we can scrape it up before the holiday. First pass with the mower. All right, so Todd is out mowing with the new mower. Grandpa's out mowing with the 4990. Jack's just throwing some grease into his side dresser and looking that over. I am gonna go pull the chopper out for Grandpa and get that ready to go for him. I'll wipe you guys up, these are filthy. I don't think we're gonna be chopping this afternoon, but I mean, it is setting at 78 degrees. It's supposed to get up to 86. So stuff should dry relatively quick. So we just want to make sure everything's ready to go before that. All right, we're getting the chopper fueled up here. I'll pull the def out. We'll fill it full of that garbage and take it over to the shop. I want to blow the dust off of that feeder house there. And we'll open that shield up and we'll get it sharpened up. I just opened that shield up so I could see from the cab if the door opens or not. Yeah, automatic sharpener. But those of you guys who follow me remember first cutting when I tried to sharpen it, the sharpening stone was stuck. So I want to make sure that door gets open and I throw some grease into the zerk on that stone so it slides easy. All right, we're up in here. Let me get this thing sharpened. So button there. Button there. We want to we want to do this. This is just to sharpen. This one's to sharpen and set the shear bar. So A, and we are sharpening. Sharpen 5 times total. So it's sharpening each pass right now, that number will drop. And then you get your finishing cycles there. And that's how you sharpen it. It's pretty simple. It beats the heck out of having to manually do it. Like I used to have to in our pull behind. When I grew up, we had a 3950 pull behind gear. So we'll let it sharpen. I got to make sure the grease, the auto grease is full. I got a couple grease zerks to hit on the head and we will be all set. Baler is hooked on. Empire tractor's coming out. A couple finishing touches they're going to do to it. 8850 still in the shop. We got that auxiliary seal to do on the front of the motor yet. And all of our free time. As you can see, Jack's getting the 4430 ready to rock on the side dresser. So just doing some finishing touches to that. So yeah, farming stuff going on around here today. All right, next order of business. Caleb's got the skid loader. He's moving these tires out of the way. I'm gonna get the payloader and move that pile of sand and clean this up. So our first cutting is over in this front bunk here, and it kind of came over the wall and worked its way down here because we had more than what would fit up front. So we're gonna clean this all out, and second cutting's kind of gonna go here, and we'll probably take the side off of this. So when we get this side of the wall, you know, we can connect the two and go up. I don't think we'll have so much that we'll need to go over the wall down onto that. I think it should all fit in here. But if for some reason we had to, like if we got so high, we could move the tires and plastic and flip it back so second kind of comes over that wall and down. But I don't think we'll have to do that. Yeah, I don't think we'll have to do that. Last year we had first cutting here and we put second on top of it and just kept bringing it this way, and then third and fourth and so on. But this year we still have haylage over here and we still have corn silage over here. So we didn't want to have the haylage come so close that we don't have room to really get our haylage out. Also, with the new bunk pad going out there, and that's going to be a drive over pile of corn coming this way, it's going to be a learning curve for the next year or two as to how to have stuff laid out as far as where stuff goes. But we didn't really want to have haylage come all the way out here and then have to make the corn would have to make like an L shape. Our thought was, if, you know, hay's there, maybe by the time next cutting rolls around, there'll be a pretty good chunk over here. We can maybe put third cutting over there. This is triticale right now. We are buying some grass hay in like August for heifers, so we're gonna have to figure out where that's gonna go. And then the thought was corn could come this way and just be a big drive over pile from those bulldozers all the way up to this wall. That's the current thought, but like I said, it's gonna be a learning process for the first couple years. Just came down to the swamp here to pick up Grandpa for lunch. He's out mowing with the 4990. Some beautiful, beautiful alfalfa. I can't believe how this stuff's got some heads blossoming too, but I mean, this is, I mean, you're looking at not quite, if you straighten it up, it's waist tall stuff. Really, really heavier than I expected, to be honest with you. Up over the head, that's usually the sign it's a pretty good crop. Out here checking some hay that was mowed last night. It's getting pretty darn close. I bet this could be merged. Yeah, that could be merged and chopped here later on. Let me go check. There's a field right up here. I'm gonna go check that, but maybe we'll get after a little bit of merging here. All right, so what I'm gonna do before I leave to merge is I'm gonna get this manure pump back in the lagoon here. Make sure that's full of fuel. So this is all ready to go, because I'm gonna try to spread. Yeah, see, I gotta move this pile of stone over. Gotta move that tile out of the way. Yeah, I got a little bit of work here to do. I am gonna try to spread at least one big field. There's a big field, I don't know what it is, 60 acres or something. And if I get free time, you know, I could peck away at some of the other ones, and we won't put potash on the ground I'm able to get manure onto. But the question is, how much time am I gonna have? We don't like to, after we take alfalfa off, you really only have a 3-day window. After that, you don't like to be driving across the plants as they're regrowing, especially not with a truck. But I'm not even positive I'll be able to field spread. We'll have to see how the ground feels. Yeah, but there's like a 3-day window. So if you factor in a couple days of haying, and then we're off on the 4th. So yeah, we'll get what we can moved while we can. If I can field spread with trucks, maybe I'll hire in another truck to help get some manure moved. But either way, the pump is parked just over the hill here, and we'll get backed in and get that all ready to go. I just moved this off-road truck out of my way so I can get the pump square. Seen here, I can show you guys this. So those of you guys new to the channel, so all of our freestall manure from that barn there gets pumped in an underground line over there, comes in there. That line is a pipe that comes from that end out by the road, so all the bunk runoff goes up there. Being that we are a large CAFO farm, we're a complete collection system with a high flow overflow, meaning if it's absolutely pouring, the water is able to escape because the water is probably not, it doesn't really have much bunk runoff in it. It's more just rainwater. But just the day-to-day seeping of bunk fluids and stuff like that go into a drain. They come in there. And there's one more pipe underneath that one. That's all of our parlor water. That comes in here. And so all the manure comes through this pit right here. Our theory was this should help collect some sand before it gets into our lagoon and we can clean it out. It hasn't worked as aggressively as we thought. I clean it only once every few months, and I do get about 12 to 14 slinger loads of sand and, you know, sand laden material out of it. But it's not as aggressive as I was thinking it was going to be. From there, it overflows into another basin. That basin there, we can drive down in with a skid steer or loader and pull sand out as well. That actually works pretty good. We scoop that out once a week and get about half a slinger load out of that before the manure goes out into the big pit. Having said that, I know for a fact there's still a ton of sand out there, so that's going to be fun. But where I was going, with this is this new pipe here. So this pipe is coming, again, because we're a complete collection, this new bunk pad is going to have to be collected as well. So this is a concrete box, a collection box here that, so you see our existing bunk. I think they said it's going to be 150 by 200, the new pad, but it's all going to slope to this corner. Some parts more aggressively than others. I know this edge over here, the first 60 feet, there's a 3-foot drop. From like here to the apron, there's a 12-inch drop, which isn't much at all. And then the whole thing is going to taper towards this way. So all of the bunk runoff will end up in this corner here and get flushed through the system just like all of our other manure will. So yeah, a lot of engineering and, you know, precision stuff goes into that kind of stuff. So my thought was I could pull the pump up, you know, out here now and back straight in, so I'm not cocking it around. But I don't know, after seeing these tracks the off-road truck made, maybe I better stay out of it with a 2-wheel drive 4840. Maybe I'll pull out up there and come back. Either way, we'll get it in. 4840. We put this little driveway in here, so when we're cleaning sand, you can get down across the pit, or across the creek there, to get to those fields over there. Makes for a good little parking spot out of the way for this system, though. Parked on a bit of an angle, but right where we need to be, so good deal. Boom, all set up. Not actually sure what just happened. I'm assuming the cylinder or something settled down, but got her hooked up. A little bit of extra slack just so I don't pull off. I gotta get another clamp. I like to have 2 of those on there. I like to have 2, but yeah, All set up, got about 2.5 million in there, minus the sand that's settled out into the bottom. So yeah, there's probably 500,000 worth of storage taken up by that. So one thing I would like to do sometime, so this outlet doesn't work on this tractor, so I can't use my remote. I want to tear it apart. Chuck told me it really just needs power to run that control box. So I'm going to take it apart, and if it's just a hot in the ground, I might just get a cheater plug with alligator clips to hook on to the battery of this tractor. I don't know. I don't think it's quite long enough to reach, so I'll probably have to just get some wires, you know, extensions to extend that out. But I'll probably do that at least before we take weed off, because that's when I usually spread for 8-10 days straight. With a torn meniscus like I have, it saves on the knee. Climbing out of the truck, climbing in the tractor. I know I sound like a big sissy, but oh well. Guess that's what I am. Don't know what to tell you. All right, just pulled into the first field here. I'm gonna go ahead and get her unfolded. This is more or less just, let's go get a couple fields picked up, make sure everything is good to go, so that way we don't wait till tomorrow morning and find out some mystery problem that will happen. This field being a thinner field, I will probably put 3 passes into one windrow. So being a 34-foot merger, you're going to be 100+ feet wide into a row. Basically what that's doing is that's cutting down, obviously, trips that the chopper will have to make across the field and the trucks will have to make across the field. This thing does much less compaction than a truck. Chopper doesn't really compact, but much less than a truck, and saves on fuel. Actually, it probably doesn't save much on fuel by the time you factor in the tractor that we're merging with, but it's also how many engine hours and cutter head hours you're putting on your chopper. If a chopper can come in and have to make half the passes, you're going to be here less time. It might not be twice as less, but either way, hours on the chopper are probably the most expensive hours as far as equipment use that we will do on the farm. So cutting those hours down is crucial. I mean, you're talking that machine, you know, $700,000 for something like that. It's probably more. It's probably more than that now. But yeah, keeping the hours down on that machine is one of the main reasons we do run the merger. And as long as I'm ahead of the chopper enough, like obviously right now we're not chopping yet, I'll put as much as I can into a windrow, a safe amount into a windrow as I can to keep that chopper under proper load. So when I'm doing more than just a down and back in a row, what I'll do is I'll flip it this way, and then I'll reverse the heads on the end, and I'll flip it again that way. So I'll flow everything to my left. Well, the first 2 rows I'll throw to my left, and then I'll put a row on top of it. I do that so there's no guesswork as to where I need to throw it on my next row, if that makes any sense. I'd like to get GPS in this tractor, and that would kind of also help solve that. So I get to the end, I shut my head off, and then I reverse them. Those 3 switches are the directions of my heads, and I will loop back in, kick my heads back on. Kind of hard to do while holding the camera, but now we're throwing the row that way. And I'll just, you know, make sure it's all going to get picked up. Where if I'd have looped over and thrown that way, this way, you're always kind of guessing as to how far over to be, if that makes sense. I don't know. This is how I like to do it. Every farm does it a little bit different. Also, you know, sometimes I'll be tripling and I'll be going down through like this, and I'll be looking back and I'll be like, geez, it could almost handle another row. and then I'll put 4 into one. It's kind of just a personal preference thing by the merger operator, but this is how I do it. I don't know, it works for me. One thing I think they need to invent is a merger that tells you dry matter. You know, all the choppers tell you dry matter these days, and it's kind of one of those things like, yeah, but the chopper guy always calls the guy in the merger, he's like, how's it feel? How's it look? Too wet, too dry, too green, where we at? Which makes sense, they're the first ones to get to the field. So you would think they would come out with a way, I don't know how it would work, but Oxbow, Rock, H&S, any of you guys out there listening, Ryder, make a merger that somehow can tell you dry matters of the hay. Because the chopper and the truck, they call the guy in the merger. I got a pretty good feel for it. I'd put this at 40 to 45%. But still, they should come out with that. Tell them the footlong farmer had the idea though. All right, we're up here on this next field now. This field's a lot heavier. It is dry enough. Earlier when I felt it there, it was, marginal. It's good now. We're kicking up leaves still, so we're good. It is a pain in the butt field though. It's only, 6-7 acres, but it's shaped like a triangle. And then there's a little indents like that. It's, it's a fun one, but ground is ground, right? So we'll get it merged up, and I may go over there. The next field, they cut that first thing this morning with the 4990. I might go do the headland of that and see how that feels. If it feels wet, well, a couple loads off the headland ain't gonna hurt the bunk, and it'll make it easier in the morning merging. And if by some chance it's dry, I know the lower half of that field's got quite a bit of grass. If by some chance it's dry enough, well, we'll just keep right on trucking away. Old Glory flying back there, you gotta figure that adds at least 100 horse to the whole rig here, so yeah, makes me happy. I don't know. That's what I'm talking about right there. When she's got to flip up over top of the row because she's heavy, that's what I like to see. Some people set it right beside each other. I do that quite a bit, but Grandpa likes narrower rows, so for the most part, I keep them right high and tight. So, all right, so this is the field he mowed this morning with the 4990. It's quite a bit thinner. This is the last year this field will be in corn, and this is also the field that Grandpa mentioned put manure on instead of potash, just because it's an older seeding. We're not as worried about hurting the plants and stuff like that with the compaction. But gosh, the outside row is pretty dry. Like, being thinner, I think this field might go too. I might have to, I'm going to give them a call and say, hey, I know there is a chance of rain tonight. Why don't we swallow this baby up too? So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at here. Definitely thinner, but in result, definitely drier. That cloud of smoke over there does not look good. Usually when you get that much black smoke coming up that fast, that's usually equipment. Hopefully everybody's okay. It's like the 3rd or 4th time I've seen that this year, right in this area. It doesn't look good. Got the last windrow we're picking up here. When we'll be done, I'll probably go hop in a truck. We'll be running all 5 trucks. Tyler got our dump trailer hooked up for this cutting, so I believe he's running that. As you can see, got a couple drops of rain on the windshield here, so I'm really hoping that's just something small. I know we got rain coming tonight, which is part of the reason I was kind of pushing. Let's try to get this picked up. Got some turkeys up there. Actually, you guys can't see them. Maybe you can. In there, those little black Dodge turkeys. Anyways, Yeah, the rain's coming tonight. It's supposed to not start till 8. It's only 4:30. So I thought we'd for sure get this picked up, and maybe we still will. I sure hope we do, because it's right on the money right now. So yeah, we're gonna get this backed up. We'll hop in a truck. Okay, so Tyler's actually in a 10-wheeler. He said he's got this hooked up, but it didn't get tested yet. So we're gonna go ahead and give her a go here. All right, so it is lifting. And my locks are lifted. Perfect. Excellent. Gonna set her back down. And this switch right here controls my tailgate locks. I'll just go back and make sure. I locked it too soon. That was dumb. These dump trailers aren't quite as efficient. They take a little longer to dump, and there we go. So you gotta wait till it's down far enough so it slides in, so when you lock it, the locks catch it. Otherwise, it's locked open. That's no fun. Well, all right. We'll go catch at least one load before we totally get dumped on, I hope. Very light drops on the roof, or on the windshield, but if it stays like this, we should be able to get a fair amount picked up. It's when the sky decides to really unload, that's when it's gonna be no fun. Just walking right along, which isn't a huge surprise. Still just kind of peeing, like not enough to stop it yet. Going back to what I was talking about earlier about putting, 3 rows into one instead of 2, less strips. You get stuff picked up faster. Granted, it's not something you want to do, because if you can do that, that means your hay's a little on the lighter side. But in this instance, it's helping out some, that's for sure. So keep rocking on here. I do like to walk to the back and just make sure I've got the locks locked after each load. As you guys can see in the background, all of our wheat went flat this weekend. All that rain, just a pain in the you-know-what. All right, that's a wrap. We got it all picked up. Today's gamble, indeed, worked out in our favor. So excellent. I mean, that's another 70-some acres that I was not anticipating being dry enough to chop today, and it's all picked up and in the bunk at the right moisture. So super excited about that. Now, if we do get a little bit of rain tonight, I have some ground I can spread on in the morning until the hay gets dry enough to chop. So awesome, awesome, awesome. With that, we're gonna go ahead and end the video here. What a day. That's farming. You'll love to see it. The box is coming down, by the way. Don't comment like, oh, the box is up. It's coming down. No power lines down through here. So, but no, what a day. Got a lot accomplished. Got a lot mowed. As far as I know, the new rig went off without a hitch. Chopper ran, trucks ran. Side dresser's ready to go. We didn't end up getting any side dressing done, but that's ready to go. So, heck of a day, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you got something from it. Those hats, again, why don't you guys go ahead and email me if you want a hat. thefootlongfarmer@gmail.com. thefootlongfarmer@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. I'll let you guys know my Venmo and pricing and stuff like that and how that all works. So thank you guys very much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.